Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to say, let's not kid ourselves. Nobody likes a dinner time speaker. And I'm keeping you from your main course, so I'm going to keep my comments very brief. Thank you for having me. I wanted to talk actually and just leave some thought-provoking ideas in your mind, because I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship and the role it's played in shaping the world that we live in. Entrepreneurship is the most fundamental element of the human spirit, and we associate it today with business and corporate activities. But entrepreneurship goes back to Isaac Newton, goes back to Alexander the Great, goes back to human personalities that have shaped the world we live in. Because entrepreneurs fundamentally are people that break the status quo. They change the system in which they operate, they define risk, they take it, and they move us quantumly to a different place from where we started. If you think about some of the great companies in the world today, they all started as the germ of an idea. If you look at the impact of Facebook, the fact that if you count its members, it would be the third largest country in the world. If you look at where Microsoft started from, if you look close at home in Saudi Arabia and you look at all the great business houses, the Olayans, the Jaresis, the Hokers, all of these business houses started from the spirit of entrepreneurship of the founder, the individual who decided to break from the ranks and move forward. And these people are the kind of people that we would like to celebrate tonight. It's the kind of thinking that defines the people that are behind the Saudi Fast Growth 100. I'd like to say that without entrepreneurship, without the ability to take risk, without the ability to understand the risk of failure, the human race would not be where it is today. So it's not just about business, it's about a state of mind, it's about an attitude. And underlying the entire realm of small and medium enterprise businesses, what I'd like to say is that here in the Middle East, we don't recognize and we don't foster the small and medium enterprise spirit enough. We celebrate success, sure. We look at big companies and we clap and we emulate them and we'd like to think how amazing they are, but we forget the journey they took to get there. And I think all big businesses have not just a requirement, but a moral imperative to help smaller companies. It is part of the license to operate. It's no longer, ladies and gentlemen, about the shareholder and about profit. Life is about the stakeholder community. Because the world that we live in today is going through a watershed moment. Not enough of us recognize it at this moment, but what it was pre-2008 and what it will be like in 2020 are fundamentally different animals. Not because something radical is going to happen, the moon's not going to come crashing into the earth, but like all things, we go through a cyclical approach. And I'm a big believer in the fact that fundamental economic power is shifting from west to east. Emerging markets are no longer emerging markets. Businesses that previously didn't exist, we are training our children for careers and we're giving them an education in professions that don't exist today. Think back 10 years, did we have nanotechnology? Did we have genetic engineering? Did we have so many innovative professions that are encompassing and becoming mainstream today, did not even exist 10 years ago? And this speed is going to grow. So in order to equip the human mind, in order for us to really understand the depth and the realm of how different the world tomorrow is going to be, we all need to start taking a much more stakeholder approach and start working with our communities and the people, not just our shareholders, but the communities in which we operate. And we need to give back into those communities a lot more than we currently are. It doesn't matter how much is being done, there's always a little bit more that can be done. And my basic hypothesis around SMEs is, if you take the example of the United States, between 1980 and 2005, 40 million new jobs in the United States were created by companies that were less than 5 years old at the point at which they hired those people. If we look at this region, we have something like 80% of the region's employment directly involved through SME employment. And yet only about 25 to 28% of our GDP in the region is coming from SME-derived activities. That's a massive mismatch. That's a mismatch, actually, that does not bode well for the future. And what is the future? The future is about the youth. In Saudi Arabia, 70% of the population is under the age of 30. In the region as a whole, that figure is closer to 50% under 21. And we have the imperative to create 50 million new jobs over the course of the next 10 years just to keep the region's rate of unemployment constant. I am reaching out to you not to plead to support SMEs in Saudi Arabia, but actually because so many of you are regional businesses, I suggest that we start looking at the region as a whole as being a common marketplace. Not that we're going to have a lot of thinking aligned according to governmental approaches, but we can have that being driven by the business sector. There are 350 million Arabs that inhabit the MENA region. That's a market bigger than the United States of America. It has the commonality of language, it has the commonality of religion, and it has the commonality of culture. I postulate that it can have the commonality of business. As barriers come down, we can start trading across. Companies like Savola are tremendous examples of businesses that break out of an individual country boundary and are known across the region. Now, why I'm giving you all of these examples is because, in my opinion, again, this is going to be driven by businesses such as those that we're going to be highlighting and honoring today. Because it is the small and medium enterprise spirit. It is that spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship that, in my opinion, is going to be at the heart of breaking down these barriers across the region and growing businesses and growing employment and growing opportunity. So I'd like to thank Sajia for putting this together. I'd like to thank Your Excellency, Governor Ahmad Dabbagh, for putting this initiative together. And I'm very proud that Abraj Capital is associated with it, simply because for us, the give back is more than just about ensuring that tomorrow is better for our children. It's much more about ensuring that whatever that give back is, quantum-wise, is multiplied by the people that we give it to. Thank you so much and enjoy your dinner.